People get mad when they raise the interest rates right now. Well, they should have never put all the fucking money out there to begin with. So now they're just raising the interest rates to bring some of the money back in. So there's less liquidity out there because people will put the money in a bank instead of, having more expansion in the economy. And then, a spiral of higher input costs, higher wages, higher, cost of commodities, cost of supplies, and other inputs.
And I think you gotta ask that question whenever things are not going good. I think the question would be always, what can I do to get to your goal? Like, what can I do to get better? What can I do to make more money? What can I do to be different? And I think that's gonna be the question. So whenever that's the way I do, it helped me out a lot.
Today, I brought the homie Gilbert Burns. So I invited Gilbert on. Gilbert's one of the top-ranked guys at 170 pounds at UFC. Beat up everybody over there, nearly everybody. And I don't want to get the numbers wrong, but I know you're a 3-time world champion.
Yes.
In jiu-jitsu. Was it 1-time gi, 2 times no gi?
Yes.
So 3-time world champion in jiu-jitsu. How many times did you win the Brazilian National Championship?
Black belt 1 time in black belt, but a lot of states, but Brazil national 1 time only the black belt.
Only once?
Only once. My wife did more than me.
His wife? His wife, how many times did she win?
She did 3 times with the gi, 2 times no gi. She's 5 times. Yeah.
So his wife is a 5-time national champion, so you can imagine the kids. The kids are already doing good. I met your son. He's already thinking about jiu-jitsu and wrestling and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to invite Gilbert out. He and I have been training the last couple of days, and is a guy. As soon as I met him, we had mutual friends that introduced us. And I think we both liked each other a lot and had similar experiences as children, different countries, but some similar experiences. And I think both of us kind of had. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the way that I think of it is like, the way that you talk, sometimes you don't have to say words, or I don't have to say words. I understand that you had some experiences, earlier in life, and then even throughout your life that you're used to doing difficult things.
Yes.
You've made a habit of doing difficult things that a lot of people don't want to work at that level or don't want to hold themselves to that type of performance. And I think he and I have both become addicted to and obsessed, whichever word you like more. We both have kind of an obsessive personality, or became addicted to creating success in our lives or making a better life for ourselves, however you want to think of it. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's my perception from the time I met you. I thought, this guy he thinks a lot like I do, that he wants to, what else can I do? What else can I do? And every day thinking about how to be, a little bit, like all day, like how can I be a little bit better? How could I do a little bit better? And then he and I often laugh at ourselves when we have one of these type of conversations that there's very few people that can relate to that. Yeah. But maybe you want to say a few words, or say a lot of the folks here. This is my mastermind group, and there's I don't know the number, 150 or so people in my mastermind group, and I don't even invite all of them. I just invite the ones. These are people that come to live events. We spend time together. These are like my favorite people. I don't mind if you tell the other mastermind people that. These are my favorite ones that they show up. They made the commitment to show up, to spend time together. I have real relationships with these people. I know them in real life, not just over the internet, So these are my favorite people in the group, I can shamelessly say. And any thoughts before we take questions? Any thoughts or comments that you would make?
No, I like everything that you said, and does says a lot of things that I thought whenever I met you, and then you start telling me your story, and then I always just laughing. Yeah, I've been there, a little different, but I've been that, and like again, I don't like to make no victim of myself, but I have a very hard growing up in Brazil, and I'm grateful for that, because it made me who I am. Like going through a lot of adversity in even in a successful life. I think a lot of people go through a hard way. Now I've seen a lot of people training like on my word, trying to be the best, but sometimes they don't embrace the hard time for a long time. they know they're gonna suffer, but they don't want to suffer as much. And I remember I got to a point that I'm just gonna do whatever it takes. You know, it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I don't care. I'm just gonna keep doing it. And I think that's the key, because a lot of people want to go. It's kind of like they don't mind go to struggle, but they don't want the struggle to be that's too much. You know, it's been 3 months. It's been 4 months. Come on, you know. And then I remember I didn't have that. I was just going through, and then remember a little bit of my childhood. It was just so hard, that was so hard and so real, that became a normal. You know, for me, it wasn't. I still very happy. It was just normal. We just, it is what it is. I saw the neighbor, I saw the other guys, I saw everyone was going through a lot of bad stuff, and it was just normal. And I'm just making through it, you know. And then whenever I find the sport that I like it, I think that was one of on other keys too. Whenever I find something that I like it, and then I think I can be very good at, I just put all my will, all my energy on that, and then that was jujitsu. And then I become, for sure, I have a lot of mentors, a lot of people that help me through. But I just like it, and then I started doing so much because I like it, and because I saw. I think, yeah, I think that thing might bring me good things. I'm just gonna do it with all my energy, and then start getting good results, and then have become making that dream to become a world champion as a black belt, and I made it. And then everything started. And then whenever when I accomplished that goal, was another thing that we connect. Whenever I accomplished being a jiu-jitsu world champion, I celebrate that for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. And whenever I get to my room, I'm like, shit, what now? What's next? What am I gonna do? And at that moment, the celebration was done. I have nothing to celebrate no more. I already celebrated for a couple hours. And then I decided that night that's going to be MMA. And 3 days after, I met Vitor Belfort. A couple guys might heard that name before. He was a legend he is a legend in MMA. And then we trained, and he invited me to be one of his jiu-jitsu coaches, and he will help me with my MMA transition. Then things get going, but I think, and then I got in the UFC, fought for the title, still looking forward to fight for the title again, get the title. That's my number one goal, become a champion in the UFC. But a lot of that story has to be with struggling, knowing. I think those are the key. I was struggling until I kept struggling, but I found out what I like it, what I think I'm good at, and put all my energy into that. I had to outwork a lot of people. I got to train super hard. I had to develop skills, and I had to believe in myself. And I think those steps helped me to get where I am today.
How good does it feel when you're working hard, you feel, you're tired, something hurts, your body hurts, your brain doesn't want to do the thing anymore, but you got to make yourself, not only make yourself do the thing, but put your heart into it. Make yourself enthusiastically do the thing, to do it at a high level. How good is it when you do that, when you work hard, and then you go to a competition and you see the other guy give up. And even before they're physically beat, sometimes somebody's psychologically beat. How good does it feel when you see your competition and he's like, oh, I got this. Look at this guy. He's scared. Look at this person. They're going to give up. And I feel like anything that I focused on in my life, and it sounds very cocky, but I don't mean it to be cocky. It's really true that when I wanted to make $1 million before I was 30, I did. I wanted to have good options with my dating life. Absurd. I can't talk about it. I wanted to go to, I dropped out of high school. I thought to myself, I'm going to go to college. I should have mostly A's. I got mostly A's. I went to the number one, my degree is there. I went to the number one business school. Anything that I focused on, I did good at it. But I won't give up on shit. Like, you look at some of these other plaques around here, $10 million, or this thing, that thing. I always, when I looked at other people, I'm like, no, this motherfucker going to give up before me for sure. Because I don't give a shit this is something that some people really don't get. It's like, I don't give a shit if I gain 50 pounds during the recession. If I gained 50 pounds
Whatever
to
it
accomplish
takes.
my goal, that was fine with me.
Whatever it takes.
If I only slept 3 hours a day, day after day after day. Sometimes I didn't lay in the bed for more than a week. I would sit on my couch and I would read financial statements until I fell asleep. You make yourself focus, you can't, you take a nap. If I woke up 20 minutes later, I'd read some more. If I woke up 2 hours later, I'd read some more. I didn't even lay in a bed.
Wow.
I just sat on the couch to sort through the things. If my girlfriend left me, I couldn't give a fuck. If she hears this tape, she knows it's true. If she would leave me when I was in the middle of accomplishing a goal, she knows things are going to be good afterwards. If a girl would leave me, it'd be silly. I'd go get 6 more. So, but that's the difference. If somebody else, when they set a goal, say, "Oh, my mom might say mean words to me." Somebody else sets a goal. What if my girlfriend doesn't like it? But what if I get a little tired, Derek? But Derek, what if I wake up, I got a little headache or a little tummy ache, Derek? Then what? And you and I don't have that type of affliction. So when I think it's funny, sometimes people join my courses and then they ask me how to create a competing business. They literally want me to like train them to be a competitor. And I tell them the truth. I don't even sugarcoat anything or hide it, because there's no fucking way somebody's going to work the way that I work to make things happen. They're not going to do it. So I always felt really happy inside. Maybe it's a little bit of a sick thought, but I think you could relate to it in some way that sometimes you look at somebody else and be like, there's no way this guy's going to outwork me. There's no way.
But that's because I think, because you know what I want, like you know what you want in the beginning. Like you say you go, okay, I'm gonna get graduated or I wanna make that $1 million. I don't know what was your goal, but it's only one option. You're gonna make that goal happen, then you don't give a shit. Like if you're with me, with me. If you're not with me, we're not with me, and that's it. But I think I think what's gonna help you to be disciplined and get through a lot of shit to get it done is whenever you make that goal. I don't know, that goal or that number or the accomplish. Whenever that accomplish is clear, and then whenever you can visualize, you can see that accomplish. Shit, I don't care. I will go through anything. Like, and I remember, if I go back in the days, 2007 in Brazil, I was in the college for to be a freaking like a physical education. You can be the coach or you can teach in school in Brazil. And I was already good at jiu-jitsu. I had a sponsor that paid my tickets to come compete in the US, got my visa, competed in 2007. Lost in the finals as a brown belt, got back, got my black belt in jiu-jitsu. And I was going to the college, and I remember clear one day that I went to the class. I don't remember what freaking class was it that day. And that was my first insight. I have a lot of crazy insights like that.
Why don't we get a few questions teed up here that, Tim, what are you thinking about, sir?
I was really fucking excited when I saw the email that said the Zoom call for tonight. And I also want to thank you for bringing such incredible guest speakers. I think, what really differs from your webinars compared to probably every other person out there is literally, I never ever heard you saying, or one of your guest speakers, this is the way how to get rich quick, or, this is the way to be the UFC champion in a week or something like that. And I think for me personally, hearing that over and over again puts so much things into perspective, like how much work you have to do, how much suffering you're willing to go through to really get to the fucking top of the tops. And I think one question that I probably have is, I really like to hold myself accountable. I really like, for example, the relationship that we have, that a couple of times in the year I come to the live events to keep myself accountable. Once in a while we have, some phone coaching or, just some messages that help me accountable. What would you say in your, like daily life when for example, you are not around me all the time, obviously, that what helps you the most to really go through the pain when you really don't, like feel like it, like in the worst kind of situations?
Let's think about today. So Tim he's from Germany. He's a doctor. He's smart guy. We know each other a long time. We've been on different continents together. Great guy. But today I got a 7-figure construction project that I'm working on. So today I wake up. I set my alarm clock for 12:01 p.m. I set my alarm clock for noon, 1 minute after noon. And instead I woke up at 8:18. Do you think I went back to sleep today at 8:18? Or with the turmoil in the market, do you think I was able to go back to sleep? No, probably not, huh? So then I woke up at 8:18. First thing I do is look at the market with like one eye closed and one eye squinting. I look at the futures market. I look at pre-market, and in my head, same as you or some other people, I'm like, well, this is fucked. So I have a thought like, well, this is fucked. And I think, well, one second later, I think, well, how do we make some money here? And I'm thinking about what are the opportunities, risk adjusted, where some companies are falling apart right now and they're really fucked. You're going to see some funds blowing up this week. So I don't know who's seen this yet, but they're talking about 0.75 of a point interest rate hike instead of half a point. So that'll get announced on Wednesday if it's going to be half a point or 0.75. But the Fed's going to be tightening maybe more aggressively than they previously announced. And then you're going to see some turmoil with hedge funds where you start seeing downward pressure where the fund gets blown up. The people that were betting against us, on Maastricht back in the day, Melvin Capital, there was one of the main companies. They took $40 billion. This company, they're smart people. I don't mean to disrespect these. These are not stupid people, but we had different opinions about a couple of companies. They had $40 billion with a B, 40 billion. They turned that into less than 8. They fucked that up down to 7 point something billion, and then they closed their fund and gave the money back to the investors. And maybe they're going to go maybe they're going to be a manager at a restaurant or something now. I don't know, but they're not going to do that. They're going to have a different business now. So, and these guys made a lot of money in the past. But if even if you're smart enough, you're successful enough that people trusted you with $40 billion, I was one of the biggest shareholders of a particular mall company that I owned, about 1/3 of 1% of a publicly traded company, of the whole company. And it was my biggest investment. And they're betting, and he spent a lot of money on this too, and they were betting against that. And they blew up their whole fund. So I made money with it. I wish that in hindsight, I wish I sold it when it was 26 and bought it back at 11, and then sold it at 22 and bought it back today at 9 something, and that's fine. But what else did I do in the last couple of months? Well, I was buying a lot of Energy Transfer in December and January, and I'm up 7 figures on that. I more than doubled my position in Nordstrom, and I'm up 7 figures on that. I increased my Macy's position by 1/3, and I'm up 7 figures on that. I made some other petty money for maybe another $1 million total with other little trades and deals. I sold Kohl's when it was 62. Where's it at now? 40. Kohl's is at 40 or so right now. I sold Targa when it was doing well. It's still doing well, but I sold Targa, bought Energy Transfer. If I would have kept Targa, I'd be pretty flat. I bought Energy Transfer, and I made that extra money. So yeah, I did. I don't know. I did dozens of things right, and you still have a few things that, well, I should have done that too, and that's life, So I don't feel bad about this. I just look at it like, all right, where's the opportunity now? And I think Simon, in some ways, we can have a different conversation about it, but today I was buying more. I'm down $1 million in the market today. I'm down about $1,080,000 today. I was down $800,000 yesterday in the market. So I'm down almost $2 million in 2 days. Do I seem like I'm in a bad mood?
Not at all.
That's what it is. If you lose $1 million and you're really upset about it, it means you're still poor. You know the best way to solve that? If you had more millions of dollars, it wouldn't bother you as much. If you just had more millions, it won't bother you as much. So, but no, on a serious note, I'm down like about 1.9 million in 2 days, and I'm still buying. I just rebalance the portfolio. I bought. I spent another $1 million on Simon Property Group. Spent about 5,000 shares on Friday. 5,000 more shares early this morning. Sold a couple other things to help balance that, and I don't know. I'm in a pretty good mood, And then I went and trained and got choked for half of the day. Then I'm talking with you folks, and maybe I spend like 1 hour more later if Gilbert's open. Every time I ask him if he's hey man, you mind spending some more time, and he just laughs at me and he's like, let's go
For sure.
come on, for sure, let's go. So he's ready to get back on the mats any moment. But what else happened? So I got to go show up. You think about accountability. I gotta go show up with. I got a world champion, multi-time world champion jiu-jitsu master. I got to show up for him and do my part. I got to go deal with construction. If I don't deal with the construction, things are going to be fucked up. Guys start building a wall today and is about 13 or 15 degree angle different than it's supposed to be. What if I leave them keep building that wall and I'm not paying attention? Then they're going to put some wire in it, and then they're going to, and it's going to be more and more expensive to fix the longer this goes on. So I got to fix the problem early. And then I got to deal with all the people that text me and call me. I don't take the phone calls, very few of them, but I got to deal with all the texts that I get of somebody is crying at home, like, Derek, my life's falling apart. Well, I still got a business to run. I got to take care of my own real estate. I got to take care of my own stock portfolio. I got to go get choked. What a great resource to have. So you're one of the best choking experts in the world. It would be negligent if I had Gilbert Burns here and didn't have him choke me many times. So and that's what we're doing for fun. And even some of the shit you're showing me, I don't want to get too technical for them, but like that, even that like modified triangle choke, the arm triangle, where the way that we've been doing that, not that puts you to sleep.
It does.
It's not like a fucking joke or something. It's like you're like, and if you tap too early like a bitch, it's not like because your ego is like, I don't tap so early because I want to see, well, all right, how does this feel like in real life? And then I'm tapping about a second before I'm about to pass out because I can't breathe. Then I'm saying, and then you lay there a few minutes, kind of, or a few seconds to kind of get your breath, and then do I cry about it or something? And I say, okay, what do I say? I say, okay, hey, do that again.
That's good.
Hey, do that again. I want to see that again. And so it's like several times you're getting choked till you're about to pass out. You're a second away from passing out. Go deal with the stock market. Go deal with real estate. Go deal with your business. Go deal with every other relationship. And like, you got to be in a good mood while you do that shit.
I like it. I like what you said on the beginning, and I have the same thing. Like, so you woke up. I'm just gonna go back to you. Then I'm gonna say, so we woke up 8:18. You're supposed to woke up at noon. Why you fuck? I'm gonna check my phone. And then you saw a lot of shit, and then your answer was like, fuck. But after that, I think that's when people get caught up. They caught up on that bad, because it was a bad response. So like, fuck, that's a bad response. But we shouldn't leave you on that and stay on that. Instead of staying there, what you said, now what can I do now to make more money? And I think that's the question that we gotta keep asking. Whenever something freaking shit happen, ask, okay, but what can I do to get better? That's gonna be me. Like, if I got a little injury, let's say right now, I just had a surgery on my hand. I cannot, right now I shouldn't be, I can't, but I shouldn't be punching with my right hand. But shit, I can punch with my left hand, I can kick, I can knee, I can elbow, I can grapple. And instead of being focused on the bad, I cannot use my right hand. Shit. What can I do to get better? I'm gonna get my jab better. I'm gonna get my left hand better. I'm gonna get my kick better. I'm gonna get strong. I got here, when I saw a gym here, I said, shit, I'm gonna lift every day. I'm gonna be sore tomorrow because I lift so heavy yesterday and I lift heavy today. I don't give a shit, but I'm gonna take the opportunity. But the way I see me going through a bad day, it's asking, fuck, what can I get better? maybe I cannot use my body today. My hands are these. Maybe these are not good. But that's the question that I always ask myself. Like I'm gonna change a little bit. How can I make more money? I want to make that question to myself too. But the question that I make is, how can I get better? How can I do something to outwork these guys on a different way? So that I'm physically beat up or I'm injured or something. But shit, what can I do to get better? And then I start looking up and I'm always gonna have an answer.
Yeah, I don't even allow myself to think that I have a bad day. And it doesn't take any discipline or willpower. I don't have bad days anymore. And I really don't. I don't allow myself, I don't even have the thought in the back. You know how we were talking about earlier? Like some of the moves, some of the things Gilbert's showing me is like, is 8 to 10 steps. And really it's more than that. It's really 30, 40 steps. But some of the, I have certain things, it's 30, 40 steps. And while I'm doing it, I'm talking through, 8, 9, or 10 of them. Boom, 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 boom. But I'm still have to think about it. And but this bad day shit, I don't have to think about that. It's not even in my mind that maybe I'm going to have a bad day. I've just trained myself that whatever the fuck happens, I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it better than almost anybody could possibly deal with it. And before I go to sleep, it's there's going to be a couple of wins. Maybe something fucked up happened, but for sure there's going to be a couple wins. For sure I got better at a couple things. And nobody else is going to hold you to that standard. That has to be like an internal standard, So man, I'll tell you, I'll answer your question in a different way of some of the tips that I created to hold myself accountable is I spent $3 million on gyms. I have in meters for you folks, I have my gym space is about 300 square meters. To make sure that everything was so the government can't take my fucking gym away, I built my own fucking gym. I spent $3 million on my own. That's this. Most of that is real estate. It's the space, but I got a nice gym. Yeah.
Very nice.
We got wrestling. We got boxing.
Very nice.
How many fucking UFC guys got a better gym than me?
No one. And
Nobody.
I had to take advantage, and the way he was. You have that competition making good, and I have a competition myself. Shit, whenever I got here and I look at the gym. How long am I gonna be here? 4 days. 4 days I'm gonna work hard. It's so hard. What time you need me? 12. Shit. I'm on a different time zone. I'm in Florida. I'm gonna wake up early anyways, and I'm gonna put in work before I train away. So
yeah. Creating those accountability. We're just saying the same thing. Creating those accountability mechanisms is I have just one after another every week. I have. Sometimes more than once a week, I have a world champion fighter flying for somewhere to come to train with me in my gym. And then, when I wake, that's a pretty good accountability mechanism, what am I going to show up and say, Gilbert, I got a little headache, Gilbert.
I'm not feeling good.
I can't go to the mats today, Gilbert.
I'm not feeling like you're going to the mat.
Yeah. Did I even tell you? Did I say anything before this call? I didn't even tell you that I didn't sleep much.
No, you didn't know. I didn't know.
I never even said that to him. I didn't bother to. Why? Yeah, I didn't even tell him and I wouldn't have told him until we got on this call. It wouldn't even occur to me to say to him, "Oh, hey Gilbert, I only slept about 3.5 hours last night, and a lot of stressful things are happening." I didn't even say no shit like that.
Not even complain. Oh, I didn't sleep good. I lost 1 million, but I'm not in a good mood.
I'm in a pretty good mood all day.
I know.
So. I mean, you gotta. That has to be internal, man. It has to come from inside you, because nobody else holds themselves to a standard like that. And when they see you doing it, they'll do exactly the opposite. They'll try to say, "Oh, you need to relax more. Oh, you need to chill out, man. Oh, you know what's really important, Tim? Balance." Somebody wrote that shit to me. I got a fucking message like that a couple of days ago. That somebody is trying to talk to say, "Oh, hey, man, you got all this money, this and that, balance," and I don't write back to autoresponders take care of almost all my messages, and then a small percentage get through for one way or another. I know how, but I don't want to say how because I don't want more of them getting through. So autoresponders take care of almost everything. But there's maybe 1% of my DMs I actually see, and I just wrote back. Usually I don't respond at all, but I said balance is for bitches, and that's all I wrote back. But this balance for I don't know, man. This is.
I don't know.
Do you know what you you're a multi-time, 3-time world champion. High probability you're going to be a UFC champion before you retire. Do you know any other guys that are performing at that level at anything in life that they really value balance more than success?
No, that shit gotta drive you, and I think the accountability it puts you on a different level. Whenever for me, I had to decide it. I have to, fuck, that's what I want, and then I don't give a shit no more. And then even I have my wife and 2 kids, but and I love that, and I have a good time with that. But they know when I have a fight, shit, like my goal is not become my goal, it's become our goal. They know that's where the money gonna come from the family. That's the win is everything for me, and they gonna be on my team. Otherwise, I'm gonna do my thing. Still gonna do anyway. So they kind of now they understand that, and they know, oh, Daddy had a fight. Daddy, after the fight we play. Daddy, can you play now? No, okay, rest up. It's all like that. Like, I have the respect already because we have many conversations together on that level, and they know my commitment with that. I don't want to go there at I have a lot of acceptance too. Whenever I'm going to a fight, I have to accept, like, I might get hurt, and I gotta be in peace with that feeling that might getting hurt. I gotta to accept that shit. I might get hurt. I don't give a shit. I might get hurt, but I still want to win. But that commitment to freaking literally when I step my foot in the octagon, boom. And I know, being honest with myself, I know I did everything in my power to be ready for that fight. Whenever I step, and I know for a fact, it's not a doubt, it's not a little finger doubt on my mind that I did everything that I had to be ready for that fight. Whenever I step, and I know it's no doubt I did everything in my power, I don't give a shit. Whatever happens, I'll be ready for it. I still want to win, I'm going to do everything for the win, but I gotta be honest with myself. Whenever I step, and thank God I never stepped and felt that I didn't do enough. Every time that I step, the octagon, I kind of ask myself, we ready? Or what? Yeah, we're ready. We're going to hurt this guy. And to have that is so valuable for me. Like, that's why I have those effort, those training. I got to outwork these guys. And I got to do, one thing that I do, I plan all my whenever I get to a training camp, I plan all my sessions. And for sure, I might get hurt, and I got to adjust a little bit. Okay, I hurt my foot kicking, and then went to my PT or the doctor and said, "Oh, you cannot kick for 2 days. I'm not gonna kick, but then I'm gonna punch more." Then we always adjusting, but I still gonna get the job done. I plan all my training, and then I get through all that planning. And whenever I start finishing planning all my sessions and getting everything, I still ask myself, if I get all that shit done and I put all my energy, I'm going to win that fight. And I say, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to win. If I do everything, if I do all that training twice a day, every day, and the stretching, and the eating good, and the sleeping, and then this, and then training again, and drilling, if I do all that shit, I'll be ready. For sure I'll be ready. So fuck it. I signed that shit. That's it. Let's go. And it might get that day, freaking Thursday, that I wake up like beat up. Not beat up, like beat up. I feel like
you got to think about what this guy does for a living. Like this guy signs a contract. He signs a contract. You're gonna get in a cage, and if the referee don't intervene, you're gonna beat a man near death. He's gonna beat a man nearly dead until the referee tells him, stop. He might die if you keep hitting him. It's like, that's literally the truth. That's not like a little bit of an exaggeration. He signed a contract. He said, I'm gonna go beat another man until he's nearly dead, and I'm gonna keep beating him unless the referee interrupts and tells me, stop. You're gonna permanently injure him. He might die if you keep beating him. Like, that's why the referees stop the fight.
Yeah.
So that's what he does for a living.
And how I'm not gonna train my best to go to those situations. How it doesn't cross my mind. How come you're not gonna be ready for that moment? I gotta be ready, so I'm gonna do everything in my power. Even if I wake up not feeling like it, I don't remember, but I visualize myself stepping in the octagon the day of the fight and asking myself if I did everything in my power, and then I'm gonna train it no matter what, and I'm going, and I have a lot of bad visualization too. Like I think my next fight, I don't know if you guys know that, is Jorge Masvidal. I think that's gonna be my next opponent, and if that laziness or anything that take me out of my training, like if I don't feel like it, if I'm super tired or something happened, whenever I wake up and I kind of talk myself to go or to not go to a session, my mind works so hard that my mind freaking show me an image of my opponent getting the arm raised. Like, fuck hell, I'm gonna train. It's a little bit of fear to lose, and it's a lot of winning is so important for me. A lot of things gonna come out of my way by my 2 paycheck instead of 1. A lot of opportunities that are like it's not even a conversation if I'm gonna train you or not. And it got to a point too that it got to such a high level that only show up is not enough. I cannot only show up. I cannot just go to a class. Fuck, no, I gotta get there early. I need to get my sweat going. I have my mobility to help me get my body loose. I have a little techniques to get my mind sharp and focused to the training. Whenever the training starts, I already have a plan, what I'm gonna do in the training. And what partner I'm gonna drill with. It's not just show up and whatever and just start rolling. No, I'm gonna show up early. I'm gonna get my dynamic warm up. I'm gonna get my best warm up. I'm gonna do my mobility. Then I'm gonna train. Then I'm gonna drill with that partner that's gonna be a good partner. Then I'm gonna do more. If they ask me to do 20 reps, I'm gonna make sure I do freaking 30. And whenever the class is done, I'm gonna do those 3 things that I think is gonna be very important to that fight. So whenever everybody done, whenever the class is done, I'm gonna do those 3 things that I think is gonna be a difference on the fight, and I'm gonna get that many reps. And I think that's the difference. The way you show up too. Don't just show up. No, you freaking show up with a plan every single day, and that counts a lot too.
Every day you got to show up for your life that way, man. It's like you're a doctor, so I'll say a couple of graphic things because you'll understand them on like a deeper level than a lot of other people here. But like when he had surgery on his hand, do you hear him say anything? We were in Florida together a couple of weeks ago, and your scars were fresh. We were in Phoenix a couple of weeks before the surgery, and you know why he had surgery on his hand? Because he hit his last opponent so hard that it ripped the tendons. It tore like the muscle off from the knuckle in his hand, and they had to open that up and reattach it. And the thing is, we're training, like he smiles and I smile, and the other people, we bring Chuck Liddell has done one of these private calls with me. Michelle Watterson did one of these private calls with these people, and I'm not trying to be a tough guy. You know me for a long time. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. When I wake up and I'm not in the right mood, or I got to go deal with some construction, like I don't give a fuck how I feel. I don't even think about it. I don't give a shit about my short-term feelings. I always think like, all right, I created a situation for myself where like I built a gym. I put the money on the gym. I personally overseed the building of it. I planned every piece of equipment. I thought about it and bought it myself. I bought world champions from all over the world to come help me to be a better boxer, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. There's no excuse to not show up as like, there's a little turmoil in the stock market. Like, I'm okay, I'm just getting choked, I don't know how many times this week. You've been nicer to me than Jake was. But I've been choked dozens of times this week I'm going to be choked a couple more dozen times soon, in the next week, and I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck what happens. Like, I don't want to go fight with some other dude, but if some dude want to give me a hard time, I don't give a fuck about that either. If I kick him one time, and I don't even want to say how, but what would happen if you see me kicking the bag, and like not even like a perfect kick, if it's like 80% good, what would happen?
It will hurt a lot. Breaking a rib or something. The guy hits so hard at it.
So the
You saw his size. You know how big he is, and they with the equipment here lifting, those legs are so strong.
Yeah.
One kick,
Definitely.
shit, not on me.
So Henry, a mutual friend of ours, a man that he runs a gym with, is a man named Henry Hooft, and Henry was kickboxing champion, world champion. He won 103 kickboxing fights. So he's from Holland, from the Netherlands, and then he moved to Thailand. So he was already a fantastic Dutch kickboxer. Then he moved to Thailand, and I mean he's one of the guys that's really a true master, like a true master, high level, best in the world kickboxing coach. And Henry says if a guy, if I try to kick somebody, say like a liver kick as an example, he said even if I miss that, if a guy moves, he's gonna get 2 broken ribs. If he tries to block it, he's gonna get his arm broken. And I said, how, is that true? And he just looked at me like I was naive, that he had enough, so much more experience. He's like, just the look he gave me, like, of course it's true, absolutely. So anyway, that's what I'm doing for a hobby. And, one last thing, and I don't mean to be dramatic, but I think it makes the point it'll help you with your self-motivation. It's like, when you start punching shit, it hurts. And then, now it hurts less because I did enough nerve damage in my hands that now it doesn't hurt so much. When you're kicking shit, you see how much hair is missing from my leg?
No more hair.
You see little scars, bruises. I get little scars and bruises all over my legs. Hair is ripped off my legs from kicking. So, I don't know, man, that's just part of the process, man. I just figure anything I do is going to be tough. That sometimes I'm going to fucking hate it. And I guess I get this thought in my head from Mike Tyson, that analogy. He's like, even if you hate, if you got a goal, even if you hate it and you don't want to go do something today, if it's a serious goal, you got to have the discipline to go do it like you love it. You got to have the discipline to show up. Like, it's not enough to show up halfway. It's like you got to have the discipline to go do it like you love it, even if you hate it inside. And that's what it takes, And then to the point that, we chatted with Lydia Ann and with you, is like, hey, it's great when my competition don't want to do that.
Perfect.
When I got somebody that, is talking shit to me, or they're going to do this or they're going to do that, but I don't know, like, in my head, it wasn't always this way. You've seen a chunk of my life, and the sort of environment I came from, more or less. It's like when somebody, I don't give a f- what somebody will want to challenge me on. It's like, I'm probably smarter than them. I'm probably physically stronger than them. I'm probably more talented in numerous things that I probably beat their ass in a fight. I probably got more money than that. I probably got better social networks than they do. It's like, whatever the fuck it is that some guy would want to challenge me on, like, probably I'm better at that shit than he is. And if I'm not yet, I know he'll quit before me.
That's it.
I know he'll give up like a bitch before I will. So like, I don't want to challenge, and I don't want to challenge other men that are like that. That there's just a small percentage of people that are that way, and like, if I had to compete against other people that were like that, is like, you get scared to yourself. You get partially scared because you don't want to lose. And you get partially scared because something bad might happen, if you had a conflict with that person. But you also get partially scared because you know how deep you're willing to go to prepare yourself. And you're like, man, do I got to do that to myself to win this? And I don't know, that probably sounds weird as f- to a lot of people, but I think you get that like, if you had that thought like that you're like, you for a moment, you're a little scared of another man or the competition. And then you like, no, I can train more, I can do more, I can sacrifice more, I can go deeper and harder than any other man would, Does that make sense?
It does, and I have the willingness to go. Whenever, like you said, whenever I sign up to a fight, that signing is very nervous. Whenever you got a contract, now I know shit. Now I gotta freaking train so hard, and I'm not gonna miss one session. Then that signing, I'm sweating. I'm like shit. Now I know I gotta do it, and then accepted that, and then fuck. Let's see. Whenever we dig deep, I know I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna be the one digging and digging and digging, and then I'm not mind. I don't want you, but I don't mind getting hit too. You can hit, but I'm gonna hit you super hard too. And then if you both getting tired, especially if the fight is 5 rounds, first round might be super strong. Let's see on the second round. Let's see on the third round. Fuck, let's now see on the fourth round. Okay, let's see on the last round who's gonna push the hardest, because I built myself to such a point that I don't give a shit no more. I'm just gonna keep going. And, or you're gonna knock me out and then I cannot come back, or I'm gonna keep coming.
Gilbert don't lose too many fights.
I'm gonna keep.
You won almost every fight, almost more than 80% of his fights. He won, and I usually wouldn't bring up this topic, but I don't think he had one fight for the title that didn't go his way. It was a very tough fight. Another fight that didn't go his way. The guy he fought. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but you stick with me on these numbers. The guy that he fought, the man had 10 professional fights before their fight. The man had 10 professional fights. He's so good at grappling and taking people down and submitting them. He's so good at it. In 10 professional fights, he's only been hit twice. Not twice in one fight, but in 10 fights, 8 of his 10 fights, his opponent, who's a professional fighter, couldn't even punch him, kick him, couldn't hit him one time. So in this guy's whole career, 10 professional fights, he's been punched or kicked total of 2 times. And Gilbert hit him 119 times. So I think it's fight of the year so far. I think it's the best fight of the year so far. That was very, it wasn't comfortable. It wasn't comfortable. You think you don't have bad dreams about that? You think you don't have self-doubt? I don't.
Sure.
I won't put you on the spot to say something about it, but I would imagine, you don't say nothing if you don't want to, but I would imagine that's got to shake a guy's confidence where he's doing so good, and consistently, and then the guy fucking just hammers him that he never got such a beating in his life that I imagine he thinks about that. Let's get one more question in here. Go ahead, finish it up.
I just want to say thank you that you answered the question in such a depth, and also thank you actually, since you mentioned it at the beginning, that you kept me away from doing a horrible mistake, like referring to Macy's and Nordstrom. And I was looking at that, and just a couple of text messages that we exchanged were like really worth over 100,000 euros.
That's the thing is maybe mention to Gilbert, like, how some of the things that we've talked about with business. Maybe tell him that story of this guy used to ask me all the time. He said, Derek, what do I buy right now? What do I buy right now? And again, I'll let him tell the story.
Yeah, as Derek said, we met in 2014, and I would say we become like great friends by 2016 or something like that, when, we spent more and more time together. We traveled the whole world, or, at least a couple of continents. And then I also obviously became aware of what he did in the recession in 2008 and how much money he made in these years. And so I had a bunch of money on my bank account as well. And for like, I don't know, 2 years or something, I was literally asking him every fucking weekend, like, what can I do with that money? How can I invest it? And to a point where he was, I assume, pretty angry with me. He was just like, shut the fuck up. I will tell you when the right time is coming. And that happened obviously in 2020. I was, like really blessed to have him as an ally, because, Derek talks a lot about you don't go to war with the army that you wish you had. You go to the war with the army that you build in peace times. And I have to admit, at that point, I didn't even know what a limit order was. So I was really a fucking beginner. And yeah, he helped me literally to make millions, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. Like literally, this shit was so life changing. It's still life changing. Like, you know, I can easily afford to come to the US like every year for a couple of times, sleeping in the best hotels, and never have to worry about a penny right now. And that's just awesome. It really is.
Hey, some people want to stay poor. No, some people, but hey, how many things could this guy say? He's a doctor. His father's a doctor. He ain't got to learn about business if he don't want to. He's gonna make good money. He ain't got to learn about business if he don't want to. And you know, he's kind of risking his reputation with himself or with his family when he to go make investments like that is, you know, it's a difficult thing. It's like, psychologically, that's a difficult thing, and he, you know, willingly taking on a lot of stress that most people. I mean, almost everybody is scared during those times. When I want to buy something today, you know, the whole world is scared. The market's down. The whole NASDAQ is down almost 5% today, and yesterday was down too. And like the whole world is scared about the financial markets right now. So to be purchasing more of something when you already have a lot of your net worth tied up in investments, and then to go be buying more when everybody is selling and running away. You have to have a certain type of person. You understand that, yeah. Like you got to be a certain type of person to do that. And you know, you and I both take pride in that part of our personality. I'm very proud. Not in a cocky way, but I'm very proud of myself. Like it only took me 35 years. It only took me 35 years to do the training, to be angry enough, and you know, thinking about business, and you know, making a couple dollars as a kid and making some more. And you know, when I was 7, I made my first entrepreneurial money. When I was 10, I had a paper route. When I was 11, I got my first management position. When I was 11, I had 4 paper routes, and I didn't do any of them then. I had the other kids in the neighborhood do them, and I'd fill in if I had to. But you know, it only took me 35 years. And but not, man, like when I see things in the stock market, when people are terrified, when big funds, smart people that went to the best schools, same as I did, when the fund is blowing up and everything's bad, and I get excited inside, and my little heart gets excited. Not like nervous excited. It's like a romance, I'm like the real life Scrooge McDuck. It's like a romance in my heart. Like, oh, there's more gold to be created, more gold coins, and. Yeah, you know, so for a person to I mean, you've done the same things and, you know, maybe scarier things in your life, but there's very few people that, I'll tell you this, I know, I'm not saying nothing about you, your personality, you're going to figure out this stuff. You ain't spent the time yet, but you're going to figure out this finance stuff. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to make a lot of money. But there's a lot of fighters that I talk to that they're scared to death of, you know, they don't know how to do shit with money. They don't know nothing about money. They don't know anything about money. They've been working on their career their whole life, and they don't know anything about money. And they might not be scared to go fight another, you know, very tough man, but when they have to think about making a decision in the stock market, I see in their face that, like, yeah, they're scared. You know, they're not going to do it. Furthermore, and some of them, and this is a sad thing, is even for a guy who is very tough and very talented, you know, some of them I talk to, I can see it in their face, or I hear the way they talk to me that, like, they don't have the confidence at all that even with great coaching or mentoring, they don't have the confidence. So it's kind of like they don't even want to try, you know? And I'm like, man, that's going to cost you, like, you did so many tough things in life and you learned all these lessons that are directly applicable, and it's just going to cost you tens of millions of dollars to invest your money in some normal bullshit instead of, you know, really investing. So I feel bad for some of them. But anyway, man, yeah, you know, you did some things that most people wouldn't do, and you feel the same pressures that I told you would. That you have friends that aren't your friends anymore. You know, some of your family probably thinks you're crazy.
It's like, you know, you once said in a webinar that everybody's your best friend when the stock market is, you know, like doing well. And when you said that, I was really pissed. Like, you know, when I thought about how somebody could be such an idiot, like being just your best friend when the stock market is up. So it was one of my really conscious goals to especially be your best friend when the market is down. Like, I really hope that I accomplished that goal, actually.
There's a lot more money, man. There's a lot more money. Do you think that this was the best? There's only one or two possibilities. So where things are right now in the global economy, there's only one of two possibilities. Either you have global communism and things get a lot worse, and then you have different type of problems. Then you have like Venezuela type of problems. You have Cambodia type of problems, okay? So either things are going to get a lot worse, and you're going to, the last thing on your mind is going to be, your bank account, because there's going to be no bank, or things are going to turn around a bit and they're going to get substantially better. And you either have to believe that it's actually the end of the world and that money's not going to be worth anything because the inflation is going to be so high. People get mad when they raise the interest rates right now. Well, they shouldn't have put all the fucking money out there to begin with. So now they're just raising the interest rates to bring some of the money back in. So there's less liquidity out there because people will put the money in a bank instead of having more expansion in the economy, and then a spiral of higher input costs, higher wages, higher cost of commodities, cost of supplies, and other inputs. Either that shit keeps spiraling up, or they have to fucking raise the interest rates right now to stop that. So when they raise the interest rates, and I lose a couple $1 million right away when that happens, I think to myself, well, that kind of sucks. And then a second later, I think to myself, well, if we have a responsible economy where we don't have that slows down this craziness of like a death march to global communism, to everything's free, this philosophy that everything's free and the government's going to give you some. The government can't help you, man. The government don't have anything. All the government has is what it stole from somebody else to give to give away and act noble. But the government can't help you. The answer is not more government. So when you have more tight financial policies and more financial responsibility, it means that we get to live to like a natural age and die of old age instead of dying in a concentration camp. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that's literally the truth. That's the truth. So, if you want to have, it don't hurt my feelings, I'd be willing to make that trade-off. Could I pay a $2 million fee to like die of old age instead of like Venezuela? Could I pay a couple $1 million fee instead of being in like, late 70s Cambodia? Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay with that. But guess what? Well, that's happening. Well, like rationality and responsibility is coming back into the marketplace, so you don't have runaway inflation forever. People just see the market go down. All they see is that their accounts going down. Like, oh, I better sell before it gets worse. Oh, I better sell before it gets worse. I don't know where the bottom is. We talked about this earlier. I don't know where the bottom is. It can go down another 10 or 20%. And it can do that because the things are already irrationally priced. Rationality has left the building. The consumer, the government's behaving more rational, and they lie about some of it, of course, because it's a government, but they're having to admit, like, oh, inflation was a lot more intense than we thought it was going to be. We have to aggressively fix that right now. So at the time that the government's acting more rational and preserving the future of the country or the global economy as we know it, people are acting more irrationally, and they're selling things like it's the end of the world or like things are going to get bad. And I think to myself, no, this is great. Like if this happens, and if you, I want to say this the right way, if the elections, seem to be, honorable and legitimate, in the next election cycle, where people have faith in elections, that there's not, rampant fraud and manipulation, I think there's going to be a lot more faith in the future of this country, but also of the global economy in general. So I don't think it's a bad thing. If people get scared when there's turmoil, and I'm just looking at it like, well, some of these things are really underpriced right now. And, Gilbert asked me, like, how do you know when it's going to turn around? He asked me that this afternoon, and you remember what I said? I said, I don't know when it's going to turn around. It's like if you were looking at a crazy person, somebody is already behaving like think about this, like someone who's like clinically psychotic, and you're looking at a crazy person that's, like a neurotic or psychotic, and they're doing things that are already, well outside the bounds of rationality. It's hard to predict with a crazy person. It's like, well, they're already acting crazy. They might act a lot crazier. So so the same thing with the market right now. We're already outside the bounds of rationality, and things are not being valued, based on their intrinsic worth of like, what are the assets worth minus the liabilities, plus discounted cash flows from future earnings. Nobody's looking at the stock market that way at the moment. The funds are getting over leveraged and their accounts are getting blown up. They get liquidated and margin calls, and that drives the price down further. And then a consumer looks at that and they don't know what the hell's going on at all. They just know the price is going down more, so they better sell and preserve whatever money they still have left. But at some point, the things get so low. At some point, you got to look at some of these things, and the money managers will too, and be like, "This is ridiculous." And just how quick a news cycle changed. How quick did the news cycle change? You should watch that happen. Remember what I said about the news all the time? They're your best friend in creating a hysteria, and then in a week's time, they could say the same shit for a year and a half, and then in 3 days' time, 5 days' time, they just jump on a new story, and they don't even talk about that stuff anymore. Like it never happened.
I think it was actually, like even 24 hours when you think about Macy's and Nordstrom, like before they published their earnings, everybody was like, oh, they're going broke, or, retail is done or whatever. And as soon as they published their earnings, the whole news cycle changed in the middle, like, oh my gosh, that dude is so fantastic and blah, 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 blah. It was really incredible to see, like in real time.
I was buying more in Nordstrom. I was, you know this story, but I was selling puts on Nordstrom. And I'm sorry if I don't think this is boring, but it's just like if you were talking about a high level of complexity. I was betting on a stock on Nordstrom, the company, the store. Okay, so I was betting on a stock that Walmart missed their earnings already. Target missed earnings very bad. Target did very bad. Gap missed earnings around that time. A few other big companies. All the clothing stores were missing their earnings. All these stores, and I'm looking at this. And there's not one good piece of positive news. It's all bad for that sector. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, 100 thoughts, but I'm like, my assessment was like, I don't think that's going to happen with Nordstrom. I think it's a different type of consumer. It's a different business. The people that are shopping there have more money than the people that are shopping at these other places. And everything is just down. I'm selling contracts, like they're called they're options contracts. I'm selling put options to get more Nordstrom, at an even deeper discount than the current market price. And then I go publicly talk about that, which is insane because everything in the television, everything in the media is going against me, and I'm like, nah, I'm buying more of this, or I'm selling these contracts to get more. I sold those contracts on Thursday. I got paid on Friday 2.5%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I got 2.5% on Friday. I think earnings report was the following Tuesday, about 4 days later, and then it's up over 20% that day. And then it's up again. And now it's up about 30% from where it was when from Thursday till Thursday, I'm up over 30%. At a time when everybody's telling you you're wrong, when the whole world is telling you you're wrong.
I think, actually, to a certain degree, you made that bet actually twice. Like, I think about the time when Nordstrom was rated like the 0.1 out of 10 stock. That was pretty funny.
Hey, there's some things I could have done better, but some things like that, nobody would do these things. And if you're willing to look at it like just a little more rational and like not get excited about the media hype and the nonsense they say, and you just look at it and be like, no, I think I see a couple things these people don't see. And you've done that in your life, and you've done that in your life, and for a normal person, is never going to understand that. And really, something that's rattled around in my head a lot. I was sitting on a jet like 3-4 weeks ago. There's this kid sitting next to me. We're going to go in a minute, by the way. But there's this kid sitting next to me, and I'm in first class, front row. He's sitting next to me in the front row. And from the time he got on the jet, he's working on his phone. He's working on his computer. And you see he's tense and he's working. And then the flight attendant, like 3 hours later, the flight attendant is like, don't work so hard. I hope you're on vacation. Hope you get to relax when you get there, type of thing. And she walked away, and I seen he was like, and he maybe he's 30 years old, something like that. And I said to him, we haven't spoken the whole time. We haven't said one word. He didn't talk to me. I didn't talk to him. I love it when they sit next to me and don't talk to me, by the way. I said, this first words that we said, I said, never take advice from somebody that has different goals than you do. Because I seen that he was a little conscious of like, man, I'm on this fucking trip. The way that I interpreted it is he's on this trip and it's not a vacation. He's still going to be working. I said, never take advice from somebody that has different goals than you. And I've been thinking about that a lot of like, why do you care about anybody's opinion? Like some critic or some idiot out in society that don't even know you in most of the time. Why do you care about somebody's opinion? Like if it's not the type of person that you wouldn't seek them out and ask their advice, if it's not advice that you would be willing to seek them out and like, you know, man, I hope they have some time to help me. I hope I could hire that person to help me. If you didn't care about their opinion in a way that you would hire them as a consultant or a mentor or an advisor, why the fuck do you care about all these free opinions that idiots have? It don't make any sense. So that's really been in my head a lot. That was kind of the catalyst for that thought recently. That like you really shouldn't value the opinion of anyone who has different goals than you, and you really shouldn't value the opinion of someone if it's not the type of person that you would seek them out and pay them for their expertise or advice. Then why do you care about their free bullshit opinion from the distance? What value is that really? And almost always the value is nothing. It's negative value. It's negative. Not only would it not contribute, but if you followed that person's opinion, you'd have a lower outcome. You'd have a peasant outcome instead of a champion outcome. So I think that's been a useful thought. That's been rattling around in my head for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, just thinking about that. Everybody likes to say some little something in whatever context, Like even when I'm training, I'm 43 years old. I'm not trying to fucking be a pro fighter, man. Did I come to you and say, hey Gilbert, I need to be a fucking world champion, senior citizen league or some shit? Like, this is just a fucking hobby, and I still take it serious. But some asshole on the internet would be, if I go dig through the comments for sure, some asswipe on the internet is saying like, you're teaching me wrong, or I'm not doing it right. I say, well, nice technique, Derek, but your hairline is back. You're like, bro, that's what you got. Like,
we were talking about that Wonder Boy fight. When was it? Yesterday, right? The fight that I was coming from a loss. I just lost the title fight. It was a big important fight for me, and I lost by knockout. He knocked TKO, so he knocked me out. And then after that fight, they offered me like the best striker in the UFC. And I was just like, shit, I'll take the fight. But I know the fight was hard. And it was mentally hard losing by a knockout by the champion, now fighting a better striker. And then end up that I fought very good and I kind of execute the game plan that we did. The fight was a little boring, but I won. And a lot of guys on the crowd, they were booing. But I said to Derek yesterday, I didn't give a shit there. They were booing because I was so happy because mentally it was a very hard fight. The guy was very technical. But more than that, I was very happy to execute the game plan perfectly. Everything that I trained, I execute. A lot of people booing and like, bro, I'm so happy with the results. Like, we training and execute that you guys can't be mad. It wasn't an inch of training, but I'm so happy. Like, and I don't give a and not just saying I didn't give a shit at all. I was so happy with like all my teammates, my family, my team. That was everybody can boo. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care about your opinion. I care with coach. What do you think was a good fight? Perfect. You execute. Yeah, everybody. Let's go. I don't give a shit if you're not happy.
I don't know Wonder Boy's record. I think he's got in kickboxing away from UFC. He had like 57 out of 57,
something like that.
I don't know if that's for sure. I think
more.
it's something crazy like that.
Maybe
like,
more undefeated.
He's fighting a guy that was before UFC was like a pure kickboxer.
Undefeated.
And yeah, undefeated with I think 57 victories. I'm just saying that off the top of my head. I think that's true though. Like 57 victories, no defeats. And the crowd is booing because he don't want to go strike with them. It's like, who the fuck nobody wants to go strike with him. It's like, you got to go take him down and control him on the ground,
And that's what I did. And people were booing because the fight wasn't entertaining, because it didn't went crazy trying to strike. And to be honest, that was the same thing that you were saying. Your goal is not the same as my goal. I don't give a shit if you're booing. I was just happy with the work that we put in.
Yeah, I'll reiterate again. We're just wrapping up. I want to be respectful of Gilbert's time, and you people know if I start talking, I might be here for 5 hours, but I can't do that to him. You're going to go to war with the tools that you built during peace times.
Yes.
I can't say that shit enough. And you brought it up earlier. Like, you're going to go to war with the tools that you built, the weapons the army that you built, the army that you trained, the weapons that you procured, the financial resources you procured, the intellectual resources you procured, the social resources that you procured during peace times, when other people are chilling, when other people are having a beer. I like beer. I drink. I had 2.5 beers. We watched the fights on Saturday. In 6 hours, I drank 2.5 beers. I enjoyed it. But when they make it a fucking lifestyle to be a drunken idiot, or when they make it a lifestyle to fuck off and do not much, it's like, that's not even a real competitor. It's not. They're not even in your league. But you got to think to yourself, like, what are the things I could do every day? What are the things I could do? Like, where's the opportunity? Where's the opportunity? And if you woke up and things are going good, that's really nice. Where's the opportunity? But if you woke up and things are fucked up, I didn't complain all day. I didn't say shit about, I told him hours later. I didn't tell him until this call that I only slept 3.5 hours. I didn't say a fucking word about it. I wouldn't have said anything about it. It wouldn't have occurred to me to mention it, except that we were talking about things here, like, his life's not fucking perfect. I'm sure that there's something going on in the back of his mind, because if you don't have something in the back of your mind that's weighing on you a little bit, you're probably not doing enough. You could be doing a lot more. You could be doing a lot more. So you're going to go to war with the weapons, with the army, with the intellectual resources, social resources, financial resources that you built when you were working your ass off. Well, you were working 12-hour days, 14-hour days, every day, not 5 days a week. When you work 6.7 days per week, you're going to have different outcomes. You're going to have, you're taking things more seriously in a way. You know that you're doing good when the peasants around you, they say, oh, you're working too hard. Oh, you really need to relax more. When they start telling you about their balanced life, fuck their balanced life. I don't know anybody that's a top level performer. I don't know. I interviewed like 100 champions in various sports, and half of that stuff is not even released yet. If I died, you're still going to see videos for another 1.5 years with fucking champion interviews that I did. None of them told me that their secret to winning the fucking trophy, belt, Olympic medal. Nobody said, hey man, I was really good at chilling. Hey man, I had a lot of balance. How'd you get that gold medal? A lot of balance.
Balance is the key.
No, nobody told me that, man. Nobody told me that. Not one. So I really don't. Last comment. Some people ask me, not these people so much. They get it. That's why they're here. But other people in my audience, they said, Derek, I come to you for business advice. Business. Why you brought all these fighters around? Or another comment like this is like, why don't you interview this singer or that actor or shit like that. I don't like most Hollywood people. Most Hollywood people are full of shit. And I don't need to say anybody's. I'd be happy to say things, but I don't want to say something that would be uncomfortable for you, But most Hollywood people are full of shit. Most other sports people are full of shit. So like, why do I interview a lot of fighters? Like, because I can have a conversation. I feel like we understand each other, we relate to each other, or they understand. You can't, in your profession, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think in your profession, the more a person lies to themselves, if they tell themselves they're better than they are, they're about to lose. If you're too cocky, you're getting too confident. A little cocky is fun. Cocky is a lot of fun, but cocky means that you have the skills to back up what you're saying. But when you get just a little bit, when you're just a tiny little bit past cocky and you start being arrogant, you start You start believing the bullshit you saw, the marketing on television. When you start believing the marketing that you saw on television and you think you're better than you are, you're about to be embarrassed, you know?
You're gonna get beat up bad.
Yeah. So that's really something I have tremendous respect for you, for your sport, that you can't lie to yourself about where you're at. You can't lie to yourself about who you are. You got to be really honest. And I think in our communication together, that's something that we both value, that you got to be really honest of, well, I'm good at these things. I'd like to be good at those things. Most things I'm never going to be good at. I'm never going to be good at golf because I don't give a shit. I'm never going to be a good surgeon because I don't give a shit. But you got to be real honest with yourself that some people think they're good at everything. So I'll let you say the last words. My last words are you do the prep during peace times when your friends want to chill, when the people around you want to relax. Just fuck that. And what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And the more you have that obsession, is like when something goes bad in the economy, it's going to be like, I'm never happier. I'm never happier than like a good crisis. When there's a good crisis, I know that I'm going to deal with it better than almost anybody on earth. Like there's almost no one on earth that, not like 1 in a million, like much, much, much less. It's like, I know I'm going to deal with it way better than almost anyone on earth. Is a fantastic opportunity. And I know I earned my spot, that I deserve the right to make those decisions. I earned my spot to make the call to do those things and to profit from it. And just like all the hard training, you said you've been training 23 years. Like you earned your spot to hold that belt. You earned your spot to have those bright lights, 30,000 people looking at you, million more people looking at you on pay-per-view or television. You earned the spot to have your hand raised, you know? So I think that's a great feeling, that all these people that give you bullshit advice to take it easy, more balanced, they're never going to know that feeling. They're never going to know shit. They're never going to see that feeling in their bank account. When they look, their bank account is really balanced. There's equal numbers. They're checking their savings.
Money is not everything.
The biggest number in their bank account might be their credit card bill. When they look in their bank account, the biggest number they might see in their bank statement, it might be their credit card bill. But what your final words, sir? Final words. What are your thoughts, sir? What would you tell some young people? They're not all young. Some of them are older than us. What would you tell some people that are already doing very well? They're very ambitious. They want to be top performers. What would you share? No pressure.
That's a good question.
Just make it perfect.
I think we will all agree, like, we gotta stay disciplined. And that means good day, bad day, you gotta keep doing the things that you're supposed to do, that you have to do, that you're planning to do. Not like we said, showed up. Only show up is not enough. We gotta have a plan. And I think you gotta ask that question whenever things are not going good. I think that question will be always there, and then we're gonna give it the word, like, what can I do to get to your goal? Like, what can I do to get better? What can I do to make more money? What can I do to be different? And I think that's gonna be the question. So whenever that's the way I do it, helped me out a lot. Whenever tough days are there, the days that freaking I'm beat up, or I'm hurt, or I'm with injury, or something is not going good, and it's a very difficult day or a difficult moment, I will ask, shit, what can I do to get better? Like, if we cannot do this thing, what can I do? Like, you cannot train because of this shit, what can I do? And you start giving me the way, you know. So, but that's it, staying disciplined. Don't matter what, things that you gotta do, you have to do, even though you're not feeling like it. But shit, I do a lot of things that I don't feel like, but I still get it done anyways. And I would say the word, the effort, the discipline, and asking that question. Whenever I feel that it is on a shitty time, I just ask, fuck, what can I do to get better? Fuck, I gotta go train, or I gotta go do this, and you're gonna start finding what you have to do. I think that's the way I do.
Yeah. So it's your response. I'm gonna summarize that, or both of us. It's your responsibility. If you start off having a bad day, that's okay. but it's your responsibility to find out how can we make things better tomorrow. Even if you're having a really piece of shit day, what are the couple of things that you could do to make tomorrow even better? A lot of things might suck today, but what could you do to make tomorrow even better? Go do that shit. Don't worry about what anybody else's opinion is. Go do that shit. Gilbert, you're a fantastic man. I have a lot of respect for what you accomplish in your career. I have a lot of respect for the skills that you have. I have a lot of appreciation that you're helping me learn some things and develop quicker. That's why I tell these people constantly, if you want to get good at something, the shortcut to success is to find someone who's doing much better than you and learn from them. So a lot of them come from me for business help that way. But I follow my own advice. When I want to learn something new, I want to find who are the best people in the world doing that. And, how can I make myself useful to those people? They'd be happy to work with me. They'd be happy to teach me something. So thank you so much for making time to help me with some of my goals, to share some of your wisdom and experience, to help them with some of their goals. Big respect.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I'll see you folks soon.
Thank you guys very much.
I'll see most of you in Las Vegas in a couple weeks.
I was living on my coach's living room on a mattress. I ended up just bouncing at a bar. I'd been a cop, I quit my job. And
Derek Moneyberg presents 10 Commandments of Wealth.
took the gamble on myself to become a successful professional fighter and make it to the UFC or Pride. And at the time,
Am I making a sacrifice right now, or am I just investing in a better future? So it's easier for me to make those decisions when I think about it is like,
Yeah, absolutely. And now that you mention it, having to actually really process and think about it, I think that word sacrifice is kind of like, I believe it's the word that the ones at the top kind of use to make everyone else feel better about it. Because when you're at the top, now you realize that was an investment.
was everything just golden and easy and handed to you, or do you have a little struggle yourself along the way?
No. Yeah, in 2013 and 2015, I was living out of my car, full time, and I was too proud to ask for help. Like, how ridiculous is that? You're living out of your car and you think you know it all. And 2015, that's when I kind of I knew that I didn't know it all. So why not find experts in that and really shortcut that? I thought I was going to just chip away. I thought I was just going to read books till I was an expert. I never really talked to anyone that actually did it.
It's been about a week since I've joined the 10 Commandments of Wealth program, and there's so many interviews that are offered in this program. I'm inside the Derek Moneyberg 10 Commandments of Wealth program. This is an awesome program that you're gonna love. I'm gonna use the principles and the knowledge from this program to help me boost my leads in my marketing firm. Buy this program, it's a wonderful investment for your future. You won't regret it and you'll absolutely love it.